This is supposed to be a photograph of Milingimbi Island, and the government used to provide money to missionaries to feed the population. So everyone got a ration of a cup of flour, so much sugar, so much tea. When appropriate or when available, they got smoked or salted pork, etc. They were given rations and sometimes tobacco as well. Now, this is Western Arnhem Land, and if you go there, this is at Ubia Rock. On one side you have this whole set of rock art paintings, but you then climb up a big rock formation, and you have this view out over the landscape, which is almost like, as we would say, the beginning of the world. It's amazing. Now, you can't really see this, but over there is a painting that Adrian referred to, which is a cracked clay pan, cracked earth. And down here, I don't know how we'll see it. Most probably won't see it, but there's a split earth, the clay. It's in the dry season. In the wet season, this is a great floodplain, and it actually is flooded. If not the water above the ground, it's certainly about 1 millimetre underneath. And if you walked across there, you'd be sunk, you'd sink up to your hips in mud. But in the dry season, it dries out and it cracks like this. And this painting is a direct reference to that. This is a Western Arnhem Land, like I said, they have total different styles of painting. And rock, we call it rock, cross-hatching. Here you have a very not rectangular, but a very regulated, almost at right angles, cross-hatching. Inside here, he doesn't actually cross his lines. And it's more like almost a reference to like muscular pieces, flesh on the right. And in Goulburn Prison, I do a program there. People took up, I showed these slides, people actually took up doing this as a pattern, this unlined thing as called meat. And he will see this as a rule, this is a lightning spirit on the left, and if you go to Ubia Rock, you must probably go to Ndulangi Rock, and there were paintings on that rock of this lightning spirit that appears at the end of the dry season when the first rains are in just about to come. They have these big lightning storms that are really intense. And in Ramingining one day, there was a huge lightning storm. It was broad daylight, the sun is this. And there was lightning striking everywhere. We heard this great crack. The accountant went outside to have a look, and this bit of tree came flying past. This tree in the middle of town had been struck by lightning, and just went, oh yes. I went back inside, and it's just a lightning strike. But this creature, this spirit, is associated with a small little grasshopper, an orange-coloured grasshopper, that also comes because grasshoppers, at the end of the dry season, grasshoppers are really ravaging the land by that time. But these are two very fine examples of that Western Arnhem Land style. More recently, people have come to make these into three-dimensional objects. These three-dimensional objects, the human frame, they mirror the tree trunk. It's like a human frame. And that's why they run that way, rather than they're cut from found materials, basically tree trunks, and then worked on. Diane Moon in the late 80s did an exhibition that went to the what used to be called the Australian Sculpture Triennial in Melbourne, and a whole series of these spirit beings, and everyone generically calls them Mimi figures, but they're not Mimi figures. They are very specific creatures from very particular sites, located in very particular places across the land. And this is that was in the Gold Coast City Art Gallery. That was part of that exhibition. This is an artist called Jardy Ashley, who's now deceased, and I use this because Charlie actually didn't really, which Adrian was talking about, priming the bark. You prime it like you do a canvas with a one tone, usually a red-brown tone usually. Charlie actually used to just use a wash of mixture of glue and paint, adhesive and water to coat it. So the brown, this colour here, the light brown colour of the bark shone through. He was of the Wagalug people, and if you listen to Message Stick, I think it's on tomorrow, or it might be on at 4 o'clock, there's an interview with the Wagalug people. They're associated with two spirit beings called the Wagalug sisters, who are thought to be two of the original mothers of all people on the planet here, and they also set up a system of how people live and marry into it, families interact. As they came along, they came to a place where this flint exists, and you can chip it off, and they made stone spearheads off that, they're about that long, really. They're a very important piece of technology. When you think about technology, people always think about computers and iPods, etc. And if in the real scheme of things, I mean, speech is a technology that we forget about, and writing is a technology. And just simple things like stone tools are massive. They are technologies that have a massive impact on society. This allowed people to hunt more efficiently, etc., and of course to kill each other more efficiently. It's usually what happens, as computers have led us to do. Now here we see a number of styles. This is England Bundler's style of Rark, and this is a lady called Nora Bindle from around the Katherine region, and this is the Marika, what I call the Marika style of cross-hatching. They usually break things into little tubes, or little rectangular areas, and then they lay down a very acute angle. You call that acute angle? And then of course this is that run without the cross-hatching. If you just go back one or two, we'll have a look, one or two back. That, yes. This, I used to say it mirrors warp and weft in weaving, right? That this, and it's why I mentioned that is that it's thought that the original rag, people have speculated that it means, we had this Melbourne academic come up and he was telling us that it means the white foam of the
Keep pressing
surf
the thing.
and the yellow beach, and then the white surf, and then the horizon line. It's those lines that you see. That's what he speculated, and I was going, yeah, right. Right here. Then, of course, this warp and weft that doesn't necessarily have to be at right angles, but pretty close when you weave something together. It's thought that when Aboriginal people saw fabric for the first time, by Indonesians, that you pull it apart, it's threads that are joined together, that's where they saw the warp and the weft. In the song cycle of the Jungle Sisters, they talk about carrying children in dilly bags, and when children come out, as you know, when you sit on the mat at home, cat sat on the mat, you would find on your flesh becomes marked with the warp and the weft. And in that song cycle, they sing about when the children are taken out of those bags, the original children of the world, of these women, they were covered in rug.